I'm Jay Savage. I was at the University of Southern California for many years, and then at the University of Miami. I'm retired and live in San Diego, and have an appointment at San Diego State University currently. I first came to Costa Rica in 1960 and have been involved with the Organization for Tropical Studies since it was founded in 1963.
So what first brought you to Costa Rica?
Well, I had a colleague at the University of Southern California who was a mammologist who had done some work down here, and we cooked up a grant to National Science Foundation to study the amphibians and reptiles. And in the process of that field work, we came in contact with the people at the University of Costa Rica, particularly Rafael Lucas Rodriguez, who was chairman of biology, and John Deabati, who was vice dean of the School of Arts and Sciences. And so they were both biologists, so we kind of started talking about doing some joint work, and out of that we developed a program where we brought a number of scientists down from the States for a course program in tropical biology, people that had never been to the tropics previously, and that was the precursor, of course, of our famous fundamentals of tropical biology. OTS is tropical biology.
And did those students, did they do tropical theses, or did you?
These were faculty, all
these
faculty.
Were faculty, okay.
Our plan was that to get grad students to come and people to do research, you had to convince the faculty that it was something interesting. So our original idea was to have a course program for faculty who had not previously worked in the tropics, okay, to get them excited about tropical science. And then our plan was for that to develop to where we would start having grad students, which is exactly what happened.
And I understand from reading your histories that there had been interest in establishing, in other institutions, in establishing field stations or in Central America that didn't quite gel.
Yes, University of Michigan had tried for a number of years to set up a field station in Chiapas, Mexico. About this same time when we were first down here, Castro had taken over Cuba, so Harvard had a field station in Cuba, which they lost. So they were thinking of setting up something. And I believe the University of Miami had a small presence here where they sent down faculty and several students. So what basically happened, without going into all the detail, is that those interested universities got together with our program and with the University of Costa Rica and convinced NSF that there should be some kind of tropical biology institute, and that the best place to have it would be in Costa Rica because, well, a great many different reasons, but that's when we came together to establish the Organization for Tropical Studies.
So key to this, I expect then, was the warm reception that you were getting from Deabati.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been
Lucas.
impossible to initiate what has become OTS without Rodriguez and Deabati. There was discussion in the early stages of this. There were a suggestion of locating the tropical center in Trinidad or in Jamaica, and it turned out that obviously Costa Rica had many advantages. There was a discussion even of doing something in Venezuela. But besides having the welcome from the Costa Ricans and from the university, also this is an ideal place to do tropical research, but it's also an ideal place to do teaching, because within this small country there's so many different habitats, and we could get there pretty quickly. If you go to Trinidad, there's not much variety. Jamaica, not much variety. If you go to some place like Venezuela, you have to travel hundreds of miles to go from one plant formation to another. So this was a great place. And of course the Costa Rican people were all welcoming, and the country was very stable, which was also an important factor.
Would you say a little something about Deabate and Lucas, what kind of people they were and how and their vision for?
Well, Rafael Lucas Rodriguez was chairman of biology. His PhD was from Berkeley, and he was a botanist, and he was the first chairman of biology at the university after they reconstituted it.
I see.
And very fine person, and with lots and lots of, in those days in Costa Rica, it was all connections, your family, your friends, and he'd grown up here, of course. Deabate was the vice dean, and he was very adroit at university politics, and he also had many connections. So he was the guy that really spearheaded the actual getting approvals from the higher administration and university and that sort of thing. So I would say that Rafael Lucas was more of the intellectual leader, and John was more of the get the job done guy.
And what were the early challenges in getting the course going and then OTS going?
Well, of course, it was money.
Yes. Okay.
It was like dinero. However, we had received during these processes of trying to put it together quite a bit of encouragement from the U.S. National Science Foundation. The biggest problems were logistics. There wasn't a road system such as you have today. We didn't have field stations, so initially we would go on field trips basically for a couple of days and stay in a hotel or a pension, and so the logistics were very complicated. But other than that, it was a piece of cake.
Any good stories out of those early courses? You didn't lose any students, or?
No, we didn't lose. We didn't lose any students. We left a couple behind. We would take the university had a bus, so that was how we transported ourselves around the country. And of course, we had these damn botanists, and they were always getting out and hiking and chopping down plant material. But every once in a while, we always gave orders to go in front of the bus so we could pick them up. Every once in a while, they would go behind the bus. And so a couple of times we left people behind. They had to get back to San Jose on their own.